Hello everyone, I am Teevee the Marketer, and in today's training video, we're going to discuss how to create a lookalike audience. This question actually comes from one of my legal clients. He asked this question, so I figured why not answer it, and he actually suggested create a video to show him, but I figured why not create one and share it with everyone so everyone can benefit. Alright, so let's get into it, but for those that don't know, first up, what is a lookalike audience? A lookalike audience is an audience of people that Facebook creates on your behalf based on certain parameters, based on certain behaviors that the user is engaging in within Facebook itself or your website. On your website, so you can create a lookalike audience based on people that visited your website, for example. You have to have the Facebook pixel on there, but if you do, you can create a lookalike audience, people that look like, think like, act like. So it's not just demographic, but it's also psychographic information. People that look like, think like, act like those individuals that visited your website. Same thing, you can create a lookalike audience for people that visited, engaged on your Facebook page, engaged on your Instagram page, watched certain percentages or certain amounts of certain videos you can select, engaged or filled out a form. Those kinds of things. So they did something, and you can create an audience based on people that engage with it. But the trick to this will be that first you need to create an audience of the people that did that thing. The second will be to create the audience, the lookalike audience of that audience. So it involves a few steps. So let's get into it. Let's do this. I will also say that a lookalike audience are a really powerful way to leverage an audience that's already doing really well. So if you have an audience of people that watch your videos and then turn into leads and actual clients, then creating a lookalike audience of those individuals will be even more powerful. It's a great way to grow the audience and find more people that look like them. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's get into it. Number one, you open up your ad manager, as you can see here. Click on the little button here, the business tools is what it is. Go over to audiences. And once you do that, you give it a moment. First step is creating an audience. So for this example, we're specifically going to create an audience, a custom audience of people that watched a certain percentage of a video. And here are the options: 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 25% of the video, 50% of the video, 75 and 95. So I would always recommend not selecting 3 seconds, because that could be people that are just scrolling and they have the feature where it auto plays, and it may or may not be someone that you want to target. It may have been an accident of sorts. They may have just kind of hovered over for 3 seconds while it autoplayed. So not a quality view, right? 10 seconds would be the minimum that I would recommend. 15 seconds is at the point where they consider it a view as far as advertising. They call it a through play. 25, 50, 75, and 95. So perhaps you want to create an audience of people that watched at least 95% of it, and then create a lookalike audience of people that look like these individuals. It gets a little complicated, but hopefully that all makes sense. We're going to do 50% though. So say in this example, my client actually had a long video. Actually, let's go back. I think it was over an hour. I think maybe a better idea would be at least 25%, because if it's an hour, that's 20 minutes. So at least 20 minutes of that video. You figured that what's right for you, right? Next, you have to click on choose videos. So I'm going to go to my Teevee page, which I have a handful of videos that I've run ads for. I'll go with this one. So, boom. You can actually select more than one. And for some of my clients, what I do is select every video that we have and keep retargeting them for this particular audience. So anybody that's watched at least 25% of this particular video over the last 365 days. It's really smart to name it something that you will remember. So we're going to put 25% live how to create ad. I forget what it was, but make it useful for you. And they do also give you a description so you can add more information. Click Create Audience. So it's going to go and create the audience for you. Now, that's right. So after you create that, they actually give you the option, two options. One is to create an ad right away, or one is to create that lookalike audience here. So you would click on that. However, what I'm going to do for the sake of, and there's the name, for the sake of demonstration purposes, in case you don't get there, is start as if you are not there, but you do have the audience. So click on Create Audience, Lookalike Audience. Here you select the source, the root audience with which you are creating the lookalike audience. There it is right there. Other sources, there's the engagement custom audience. You click on that. Here you have to figure out where you're going to advertise to. For most of my clients, for most of my audience, you're more than likely going to be in the United States. But if it's wherever you're at, you have to pick that country that you are creating that lookalike audience for. And this is, when you select your audience, how tight do you want it to be? Do you want it to be super tight in terms of the interest, in terms of the how close and how relatively close to the original audience do you want them to be? The tighter you are, the less the audience, the less the actual audience will be. So, but having said that, at 1%, you're getting 2.4 million people. You can expand it up to 10%, and you get a lot more people in that audience. But for the sake of trying to produce leads, you want to get it as close as possible. So within 1%, 2.4 million people in that audience. Based on that information, we create that audience. And that's it. That's how you create a lookalike audience. And here it is right here. The next step would be to create an ad for that. So the question that I was asked as well is, what kind of ad, what kind of content would you place in front of them? Well, the assumption is that they've never heard of you, right? So I would put content in front of them that is introducing you to your brand and your services. What kind of content is that? Well, that's informational kind of material, content around relevant, recent topics that are specific to your niche, your legal expertise, or whatever it is that you do. You want to put content in front of them that is related to that. And more specific, it's informational kind of stuff, high value kind of stuff that puts you in a position of expertise, because you're sharing freely. On top of that, you're sharing free information that relates to something of interest to this audience. And given that you have so many people that that are in that audience, it gives you a great deal of reach. You just have to put new content in front of them. I would discourage putting any anything in front of them that's with a really strong call to action, because they just met you, right? This is social media. You don't want to just hit them in the head with an ad saying how great you are. You want to introduce yourself. You want to prove that you are indeed an expert in your field and you know what you're talking about. And the best way to do that is value-driven, high-value content that they can appreciate and will likely share. All right? That's what I would go with to lead off with. And then I would follow up with testimonial videos, other high-value content, testimonial videos, testimonial graphics, anything, a story-driven content that has like results that you've produced for other people, things that you're doing right now in your industry, what you're up to, a little bit behind the scenes, be any of that. But that's later. First or second piece of content will be that high value content that they can appreciate. And that's it. All right. So that's today's video on how to create a lookalike audience and what type of content to put in front of them. All right. Thank you very much. Actually, a real quick bonus. You created that custom audience. You did create that audience, so you could also go back to this audience, the original audience, and put something in front of them. Follow back up with them and saying, hey, thank you for watching the video, right? Thank you for engaging with my content. Is there anything I can do to help you? Do you have any questions for me? that is another idea in terms of what you could do to get back in front of those individuals, because they did invest some time and energy to be present and to, in this case, let's say, watch at least 25% of that video. That's it for today. Thank you very much. If you found value in this video, please share it. Share it with your community, share it with your colleagues. And if you or your colleagues need any personal help, feel free to reach out. I am taking on a couple of clients right now. My name is Teevee the Marketer. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.